Lesson 58, multiplying polynomials. Before we get into multiplying polynomials, we're going to recall part of the multiplying of polynomials that we've already talked about, which is the distributive property. So it says to recall the distributive property, and what we would do here is we would take this, whatever it is that's touching those parentheses, and we distribute it to everything on the inside. When we do that, we multiply. So we have 2 times 12 plus 2 times 14. Well, 2 times 12 gives me 24, plus 2 times 14 gives me 28. Whoops, I wrote 24 again. 28. And when I add those together, I get 52. Final answer. So now we're going to practice it using some variables and exponents. So I'm going to distribute to everything on the inside. So I have 7x squared times 2x minus, and I take that 7x squared, I take everything that's touching those parentheses, 7x squared times 3y squared. Oops. Okay, so now all I have to do is multiply. So I have 7 times 2 gives me 14. X squared plus x, this x is understood to the first. When I multiply by the same base, I add the exponents. So I have x to the third minus 7 times 3 gives me 21, and then I have x squared, y squared, because they are not like bases, so I just write them the way I read them. Same thing happens here. I want you to go ahead and pause and try and do this one on your own. On B, we're going to start by distributing that negative 6ab squared to everything on the inside. So I have negative 6ab squared. I'm going to multiply that times 5a squared plus a negative 6ab squared times 3b minus negative 6ab squared times 2b squared c squared. So I'm going to multiply again. Negative 6 times 5 gives me a negative 30. A to the first and a to the second, I add those, so 1 plus 2 is 3, so I get a to the third. And then I just tack on that b squared. I have plus and negative, okay, because it's going to be plus, and then negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. I'll just go ahead and write it. So I have plus, negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. And then I have a, I don't have an a over here, so I just write a. B squared times b to the first gives me b to the third. Minus negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. I don't have an a on the other one, so I put a. B squared times b squared gives me b to the fourth. I have no c, and c squared gives me c to the second. So now I need to get rid of these double signs. I'm not going to rewrite all this, I'm just going to show you what the sign should be. Opposite sign should always give me a negative. Same sign should always give me a positive. Final answer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find the product. And what we're doing is we're distributing everything that's touching the parentheses here to everything over there. So I'm taking this to each of those, right? Which I could show, my eye, I'm sorry, by taking all of this. So I have a plus 4, and then that's being multiplied times a, plus a plus 4, which is being multiplied times 7. Okay, so I just took this to each of those. So then I have to distribute this a. Remember, we can distribute if it's on the back side also. So a times a is a squared, plus a times 4 is 4a, plus 7 times a is 7a, plus 4 times 7 is 28. Well, I have a couple of like terms here, so I'm going to box those in so I know what to do with them. So my a squared doesn't change. Positive 4a plus 7a gives me a positive 11a plus 28. That's my final answer. I can't simplify that any further. Let's go up. Okay, the same thing happens here. I can take this whole thing, because it's in parentheses and touching these parentheses, to both of these. So that would give me b minus 6 times b minus, because of this sign, and I have b minus 6 times 3. Okay, so then I can take this b to both of these, so I have b times b is b squared minus 6 times b is 6b minus, now I'm going to still show my parentheses because of this negative, so I have the 3 going to both of those, so 3 times b is 3b minus 6 times 3 is 18. But I have to take this negative to everything on the inside, which is going to make this a negative and this a positive. So I have b squared minus 6b. This became a negative, and this became a positive. So I still have like terms. So I have negative 6b minus 3b, and b squared doesn't change. So negative 6b minus 3b gives me negative 9b plus 18. And that's my final answer. Alright, the FOIL method. This is a much nicer, simpler way of doing what I just showed you. Alright, so the FOIL method, F-O-I-L, stands for first, outer, inner, and last. FOIL. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the first to the first. Okay, that's the first thing in each set of parentheses. Then you're going to multiply the outer, which is what's on the edges. So this is this edge, this is the right edge. So left edge, right edge, we multiply those two things. Then we're going to multiply the inner. These two are what's on the inner, the left inner and the right inner. So we multiply those. And then we take the last times the last, which is the last one in the first set, the last one in the second set. Okay, so we're going to practice that. FOIL is what we're going to use to do this. And we're going to take FOIL, which is first, so first times the first. That is going to give me, 4c times c. Okay? The outer means I'm going to take what's on the outside, so 4c times 5, because those are on the outside. So I have plus 4c times 5. So I'm done with the O. The I is for inner, so the inner two things. These are what's on the inside. So I have plus 3 times C. And finally I have last, which is the last in both, 3 times 5. So 4C times C gives me 4C squared plus 4C times 5. 4 times 5 is 20, tack on the C, plus 3 times C is just 3C, plus 3 times 5 is 15. Well, I have like terms, so I need to make sure that I combine those. So I have positive 20C plus 3C are like terms. My 4C squared comes straight down. 20C plus 3C gives me a positive 23C plus 15. And that's my final answer. I don't have any more like terms. This is simplified as far as it goes. Alright, again, it wants us to find the product, so I'm going to FOIL to do that. F is first, so I'm going to take the first one times the first one, which is a negative 6m times 5m, plus the outside is going to be negative 6 times negative 6m times negative 2. The inside is negative 3 times 5m. Negative 3 times 5m. And the last is going to be negative 3 times negative 2. Alright, so essentially what we're doing is we're taking this term to every term in the other set. Then we're taking this term to every term in the other set. Okay, it's not a difficult thing, we're just foiling, or we're just distributing basically.
Smith, you are expected in Mrs. Solo's class at this time. Please report there.
Okay, so now all we have to do is the math. So I have negative 6 times 5 gives me negative 30. M times m gives me m squared. Plus negative 6 times negative 2 gives me positive 12m. Plus negative 3 times 5 gives me a negative 15, and then tack on the m, plus negative 3 times negative 2 gives me a positive 6. And I can see here that I have a double sign. They're opposites, which gives me a negative. And I have like terms. I'm going to put those together. Okay, I'm also going to just get rid of this so we can see it's a negative there. I have negative 30m squared. 12m minus 15m gives me negative 3m plus 6. That's my final answer. I don't have any more like terms. I am finished. Find the product of this quantity, and then it wants us to use the distributive property and vertical multiplication. What we're going to do is we're basically just going to FOIL here. Okay, so we're going to take the first term to everything on the inside, and then we're going to take the second term to everything on the inside, just like when we FOIL. So 2x times 2x squared, that's what I'm going to write first, plus, then I'm going to take that 2x to the next term, which is negative 5x, plus, I'm going to take the 2x to the last term, which is 8, plus, now I'm going to start with this one. I have 7, which I'm going to take to the first term, which is 2x squared, plus 7, which I'm going to take to the middle term, which is negative 5x, plus 7, which I'm going to take to the last one, which is 8. So now, all I have to do is multiply. So 2 times 2 is 4. X times x squared gives me x to the third, plus 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. X times x is x squared, plus 2 times 8 is 16, and then x, plus 7 times 2 is 14, x squared, tacks on, plus 7 times negative 5 is negative 35, tack on the x, plus 7 times 8 is 56. Now I need to combine like terms. So I have double signs. Let's take care of those first. Opposite signs here gives me a negative. That's good, that's good. Then I have double signs here again. They're opposites, which is giving me a negative. So I have 4x to the third. I don't have any other x to the third, so that's by itself. Negative 10x squared, well, I have 14x squared, so we're going to put those together. So negative 10x squared plus 14x squared. Okay, and I'm going to scratch those out so I don't get confused. Then I have 16x and negative 35x. Those will go together. And again, I'm going to scratch this part out so I don't get confused. And then I just have 56, which is a constant, and it doesn't have any like terms. So my 4x to the third comes straight down. Negative 10x squared plus 14x squared gives me a positive 4x squared. Those got me that. 16x minus 35x. I'm going to put those together. It's going to get me a negative 19x. And then plus 56 comes straight down. Final answer. It says to find the area of a rectangular piece of matting that has a width of this and a length of this in inches. Alright, so first of all, a rectangular piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a rectangle. Okay, and I know that it has a width, okay, of this right here. So I have, on the width, I'm going to have 3x squared minus 4x plus 5. And it has a length of this, which gives me 2x plus 6. This is a 2. Okay, and it wants me to find the area. The area of a rectangle is found by doing what? I hope you're thinking multiplying length times width. So all you need to do is plug these in and solve. And I want you to do that on your own. If you have trouble, I want you to try, but if you don't think you have it right, I want you to make a note of it in your notes, and we can talk about it on the board when you come to class tomorrow. I hope you've taken good notes and that you have a good night.